highest goal of Sambo is to have the ultimate awareness, and that's to see stuff before it comes down. Not everybody can have that. That's why we break it down into reactional and confrontational. Reactional is where you're adopting a relaxed stance. Generally, you'll see a lot of Sambo guys that'll stand like this, nice and relaxed, and that's the reactional, because you're able to move and do whatever you have to do from a relaxed stance. Some guys like to do this, which is okay too. The confrontational stance is when you know the shit's going to go down and you're going to fight it out. You might as well get in a good stance like this and be prepared. And from this stance, you have to be able to use all of your weapons. You have to be able to do all of your takedowns and throws. That's why you adopt a fairly neutral and balanced position, weight 50-50, hands up by your face. Zoning concepts are very important. There are 8 basic zoning concepts that we use in Sambo to evaluate each and every technique that we do. It's important to keep these in mind. The first zoning concept is protect your vitals. Okay? Now, if guy's not thinking about the first concept, protecting your vitals, and he throws a punch, just kick him in the groin. He's not protecting his vitals. If he's standing there like this, getting ready to fight, he didn't protect his throat, so I took out his throat. His throat wasn't protected. He's sitting there going like this. He's in a little bit lower crouch. His hands are low. I just took out his eyes. His eyes weren't protected. Now, change the scenario around. Here I am. I'm getting ready to punch Guy, and I throw. He tries to take my groin. I've got my hip there. I'm going to block it here. He's going to try and take out my throat, but my chin is down. He's going to try and take my eye out. I'm parrying it away. It's important. Even from a relaxed, reactional standpoint, if he goes to kick my groin, I'm protected. At the same time he goes to kick my groin, he tries to poke me in the eye, I'm protected. So I'm aware of these things. I don't have to be in a tight, closed stance. I can just be aware of these things from a reactional standpoint or a confrontational standpoint. The second zoning concept that we're going to talk about is, are you able to use your weapons with maximal force without upsetting your balance too much so you're able to deal with something else? One of the things you'll see a lot of people is they'll square up and they'll start trying to throw punches. Well, there's no power in throwing punches like that. It won't take a very experienced boxing coach to tell you that. The idea is if you want to maximize your body's use of force and technique without compromising your balance. So if I throw a haymaker, I'm not in a very good position. If I'm in here, I'm firing, I can still drop in and shoot. And I have that technique down. I haven't exposed myself. I've got maximum power, and yet I can shoot and take someone down. Dean? We're in a confrontational stance. I want to pepper him with everything I have on my jab. Boom, right cross. I can still step in. Reverse double. I haven't lost out on anything, and then I can move into a submission hold. The third zoning concept we're going to talk about is, are you able to reduce the number of your opponent's weapons that he can use against you? Whether it be artificial like a knife, or an elbow, or a headbutt. So when you approach your technique, when you're going to do your move, you want to cut down on the number of weapons he's able to use against you. Dean? Okay. I'm here, I trap, I blocked his arm, no headbutt, no knee, I'm going to take him down. I've got him stacked up, he can't use any weapons. Right now, he's not even able to reach and grab a knife if he's on the right side. I've got him blocked up. I've got him pretty good in a joint lock. I've covered zoning concept number 3. I've reduced the amount of weapons my opponent can use against me, be it artificial or natural. Zoning concept number 4 is, are you able to reduce your opponent's power? This means either intercepting it before it attains maximum speed or being out of the area of maximal impact. One of the ways we're going to show this is we're going to have someone come out here, you're in a reactional situation, he's going to reel back at haymaker. I blocked it before it got the maximum amount of speed. And this is a common frame, is what you'll see in a lot of Russian martial arts. They do something called frames, and this is one of them. They're tucking their head down to protect the knockout triangle, putting their head down, and they're using their hand double palm block. Sometimes you'll see if it's low, it'll be a double thumb, but this is a double palm. So in a reactional stance, boom, block, down. What am I doing? I'm stepping on limbs. Remember, I'm maintaining that, so if he tries to weapons draw there, I can reduce the amount of weapons he has while I put on a lock. The fifth zoning concept in combat Sambo is preventing a concealed weapons draw. Most grappling systems don't pay this enough attention. A lot of guys are going to get killed on the main streets using some of their basic grappling techniques without having an awareness of concealed weapons draw. Guy? We're in a situation where this is going to get ugly. So I know what's going to happen. So if I'm not paying attention, right, I do a nice Russian double, take him down. Oh, sure, I know ground and pound. He pops out to clip it. Whoops, I'm not going home to my wife. I just lost my primary mission. I'm not going home safe and sound because I didn't pay attention to a concealed weapons draw. Now, if I'm using my head about it, and say he decides to throw a right hand, I block it, I'm cupped around his waist. I have him here, I can monitor this. I take him down, still I monitor this. I can monitor this with my leg, I can monitor it with my hand, or I can monitor it with the ground when he's on this side. He's not going to be able to get that, especially if I'm keeping something else down there tight against this. You monitor or prevent the concealed weapons draw. Very important. He's going to try and roll away to get some kind of weapons draw on there. But if you keep pressure on him, he'll have a hard enough time and you'll have a chance to escape and get the hell out of there. Now let's see how zoning concept number 5, preventing a concealed weapons draw, works with a gun. Here you are in a situation, you notice this guy has a weapon, he's going to be a badass and take it out. Hand on the thumb gun junction, downward pressure. I'm not using muscle pressure, I'm using body weight. He's going to be thinking that he has to get this weapon out. This isn't a trained killer we're talking about, because trained martial artists or trained killers maybe react differently. Right now we're talking about the average guy on the street. He's got pressure, he wants to take it out, I'm going to take his head. One of the things you'll notice in Sambo, especially combat Sambo, you're going to see a lot of guys attacking the head, taking the head and pushing it back. Concept here is we're going to wipe the head back and away and down. I still have this monitored. I'm still going to keep this monitored with my body weight. I'm just putting my body weight on there. I'm going to replace this with my body weight so he can't get it out. I'm going to be balanced. I'm in pretty good balance if he starts to roll, but I can choke him out or do whatever I have to do. But the concept is I prevented that weapons draw with minimal effort. I didn't expose myself to too many other things. I took him down and dealt with the situation. Combat Sambo zoning principle number 6 is being able to deal with multiple opponents. When you're out on the street, you want to be aware of multiple opponents. Remember, one of the corollaries is that always assume that your opponent has more than one friend. What we're going to do is give you some basic concepts on how to deal with multiple opponents, but right now I just want to show you an example of that. Okay, let's explain what we just did. What you'll see in a lot of Russian martial arts is that they like to do that. They like to direct an attack from somebody into somebody else. So Brent initiated something. Dean's going to start like they had at time. Nice basic shrug block that you'll see in a lot of styles. Back into him, I used what I call a basic push point. There are several that we'll review later. Drove them into each other. I'm able to exit the area if I need to, or really deal with them in different ways. Combat Sambo zoning principle or concept number 7 is E&E. You don't want to get wrapped up in your opponent when you're doing a technique. You want to be able to get out and get the hell out. So you don't want to wrap yourself up. Let me illustrate this. Guy, reactional stance, he throws a punch. Oh, I know this technique. Choke him out. Okay, time out. Not a very good thing to have happen. Let's show what I would do on the street if it were really happening. Okay? Successful E&E. I took care of my primary opponent. I saw his buddies were coming. I got the hell out of there. Pretty smart thing to do. I don't know how many people can kick ass on more than one guy. The final zoning concept, number 8, is are you able to scan the area? When you're getting ready to finish a technique, you want to be able to scan the area. We always assume he has multiple opponents, but we want to look to make sure that he doesn't. So here I have a nice little lead off. I'm preventing him from kicking me with this hand. He can't generate any force. I've stopped the force before it gets here. I've got his head pinched. I've got his arm pinched. I'm monitoring possible weapon draw area. I've got a pretty good situation here, and I'm able to rotate and scan. Some grappling styles don't pay attention to being able to scan or all these principles. With one demonstration of how some grappling styles don't pay attention to these 8 zoning concepts, we'll see where they go wrong. See, look at here. I struggled with him to get the arm. Sure, the technique wasn't superior. It's a street fight. You're always going to make technical errors when the adrenaline's flowing. I didn't monitor anything. I didn't check his weapons. He crossed, drew a knife. Now he's able to shank me. He can get to some pretty vitals. He can cut the popliteal artery. He can get to the femoral artery on this side. Sure, I broke his elbow. But that doesn't mean anything. Now that I'm bleeding all over the place, I'm going to die.